Hey everybody, it's Beth and Campbell with your Cafe Grit moment. I know it's been a minute since I've done the Cafe Grit thing. But I'm going back. I'm going back to grit. Never really left grit, but I'm going back formally to Cafe Grit, which is a podcast that I started a few years ago in 2020. And it was a little bit about personal grit and a lot about corporate grit and dealing with the rat race of work and life. Went pretty strong for a couple years. I really enjoyed it. I found it kind of cathartic, and I had a lot of great feedback from some of you. And then I let it go. And I had a lot of reasons for doing that, not the least of which was my health. I just was focused on my mental, my spiritual, and my physical health. And then I got a new puppy, and I had a job. I took a job for a time where I had to be a little careful about talking about bad leadership and also swearing, because I got in a little trouble for that. And the COVID thing probably was always a factor, but I have a passion for speaking the truth and speaking out and helping others speak out however they can and will. And I always need a purpose in that respect. It's something that doesn't go away. So I channeled that energy into a podcast called My Favorite Bitch, where I talked about my dog, the challenges of raising basically a bull in a china shop, a silver rhino, while working from home. And that was fun. And I found it very meaningful for a while, especially when my dog Moxie was a puppy. And I still love talking about raising dogs. It's something that it doesn't matter who I'm talking to. We always go to pets. But now Moxie's older and she's more settled. And I'm not finding as much meaning in that podcast, but that energy is still there. It's kind of becoming restless again. So some of the other factors that took me away from Cafe Grit are gone. The job changed. So I'm no longer at the company where I was called to task over my swearing, which I'm going to try to curb a little bit, but I will swear. Health thing's always going to be a focus. I've just come to a realization there is no end state. Health is just something that I will always be focused on. So I need to make things work. COVID's dying down. So I'm going to go back to grit. I'm going to go back to the podcast, the Cafe Grit podcast, and I'm probably going to retire My Favorite Bitch. I'll still post about dogs and talk about dogs, but I have zero shame in retiring another podcast. This is like the fifth one in a decade that I've retired. So no shame in that. We evolve. And I think this time around with Cafe Grit, I'm going to have a better balance of personal grit as well as corporate grit. So that's just kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of you there. I'm going to try to make these podcasts a little bit shorter, because I know my attention span has decreased the older that I get and the more that I do things online. So I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of, I'll do a few, but I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of 20, 30 minutes. I'm going to try to make them short bits. And we'll see where it goes. It's just it feels good. It feels good to be back, and feels good to have my energy channeled in the right direction. So welcome back to Cafe Grit, where the Moxie is fresh, the passion cold brewed, and everything is served with a heaping side of mojo. Take it easy.